So in my last video, I was talking about the results of the unrighteousness of the citizens of the United States, causing us to have to have received unrighteous rulers, and how America is cooked and finished and dead and over with. Well, if we know anything from Scripture, which we do, we can learn the character of the Creator. And so I believe there is something that we can do to save the entity of the United States, because with God all things are possible. And so what we need to do is we need to turn our hearts towards God and towards His righteousness, and towards promoting His values, and towards executing what we have learned from His judgments. And we need to begin to practice love to one another and righteousness among ourselves and our neighbors, and to begin to practice the teachings of Christ in this country. Now, remember also when Abraham was arguing with, or debating with God, or rather pleading with a messenger, aka angel of God, and he was saying, well, for the sake of how many people will you save Sodom and Gomorrah? For the sake of how many, and he kept whittling down the number, and the messenger of God, speaking by the Spirit of God. So what happens is a messenger shows up, and that messenger acts as the conduit of the Spirit of God, and that messenger ends up speaking by the Spirit the words of God, the Creator. And he said, if for the sake of 30 or 50 or 20 or 10, will you spare the city? He said, I'll spare the city for the sake of so and so many people. If I find them that their hearts are inclined towards me. I would not be surprised whatsoever if these same principles that we learn from Scripture can be applied to the saving of America. So consider these things, and that the best thing that we can do is turn our hearts towards the righteousness of God and His teachings, especially as expressed and taught in the teachings of the Messiah Christ. There is absolutely nothing more important or better to do in your life than to practice the teachings of the man known as Jesus Christ. Simple, even if you're not trying to save a country.